Paddy's review from the weekend's sport events. Where did we start? Friday night, Spurs and Everton. I thought Everton played well against Spurs, and only for two defensive mistakes they would have won this game. Um, like those mistakes could cost them from finishing in the European place this season. But I thought Sigurdsson was outstanding for Everton. He's been brilliant for them over the last year. And a brilliant cross by Coleman for Everton's second goal. The last few games, Coleman's been outstanding for Everton, but when you make mistakes at the back, especially when you're playing Spurs or Kane, he will punish you. Two brilliant finishes. He's a brilliant player, one of the best strikers in the league. The only thing that Spurs will be fearful of, Kane went off with an injury, and with the cup final this week, it'd be a big blow if he doesn't play because he's been the best player this season. But I don't think either team will finish top four this year because they've dropped too many points lately, I think. On to Saturday, Newcastle West Ham, a brilliant match, end to end. Newcastle went 2 up, poor mistakes by West Ham at the back. But then West Ham came back into it because Newcastle sat too deep. They defended very deep, thought the game was over. West Ham waited onto them and they scored 2 goals. Lingard scores a penalty. That was a great spot by VAR for that handball. But in the final few minutes, like West Ham had a chance, one nearly scored, and Newcastle went down the other end and scored. Brilliant goal by Willock. This could be a big goal for Newcastle, and with it being now 9 points cleared, I think Newcastle are now safe. It'll take a lot for Newcastle to go down from now. But for West Ham, with the aspirations of top four, like those defensive mistakes, you can't do that, especially when they're going for top four. So Moyes will be disappointed about that. But like they can't be too disappointed because it's only one game. Like they've had a brilliant season, they'll probably bounce back the next game. And also on Saturday, the late match Wolves and Sheffield. It was good to see Jose score. He's been a young striker and a lot of pressure on him. Replacing Jimenez, that'll do his confidence a world of good with scoring a goal. Especially if he has to play again in front next season. On Sunday there was 2 games, Arsenal Fulham. This match was awful. Arsenal were poor. They lacked urgency, tempo was too slow. Like they couldn't pass the ball around well at all. They found it hard to create chances. I don't think either team deserved to win, but Fulham went 1 up, good panel. And you thought, if Fulham were to win, go on and win, like this could be a big win in their relegation battle. But poor defensive mistake cost them from winning the match. I know it was a great save by the keeper, but the anticipation by the Arsenal striker was brilliant. But when you look at the goal and Rob Holding was in the way of the keeper, like I'm sure Scott Parker was saying that the line is sight, and he probably has a point, because I think that stopped the keeper from saving it. So, but why was it 7 minutes? I don't think there was too many stoppages in that game. So, but then again, the match would have been different if Arsenal's goal would have stood in the first half. Like, it was a brilliant header by Ceballos. Just because your man's toe was offside, it's disgraceful. And United Burnley, I know you look at 3-1, I think it's a convincing scoreline, but United had to work for it. Burnley played well. I know United went 1 up, then Burnley came back into it, but probably United just edged it. I thought Greenwood in the match was outstanding. Like, he's been brilliant for United the last few games, and if he was to have a brilliant end of the season, like he could force his way into the England squad. And it was good to see Van de Beek getting assists. That'll do his confidence and morale the world ago, especially if he's found it hard to get going at United. And United, second place now. Only 8 points behind City. Is there still a chance? I don't know. I think United just need to keep winning games, and if City slip up, great. But if not, I think to come second is an improvement. And if you're to sign a few players this summer and then go again next year, I think then United will be able to put together more of a title charge, to be honest. And the FA Cup this weekend, City and Chelsea. A poor match, to be honest. I don't think either team played well. But I thought Chelsea just edged it. They wanted to pass the ball, they wanted to create chances, and it was a good goal they scored. Ziyech, he could be an important player for Chelsea, but if Tuchel was to win the FA Cup, considering he's only come in halfway through the season, it'd be a brilliant achievement. But for City, they made 8 changes. I just think I know the quadruple they're going for that, but it only took one slip up, and that's what happened at the weekend. There's certain games where you have to play well, and you can't win playing poorly, and that's what happened at the weekend. They didn't play good enough to win the match, and I didn't think City played well with both with and without the ball. I know they had a lot of possession, but they didn't create many clear cut chances. So like getting beaten by Leeds, getting beaten by Chelsea, there's a bit of pressure on them now. They need to bounce back, because that'll give United encouragement, especially if the gap was to shrink from 8 down to 5, maybe. With City not playing next weekend because of the cup final, so still interesting to see what happens. But Chelsea will have to play well in the final because they're coming up against a good side in Leicester. Iheanacho is in brilliant goal scoring form at the moment. Um, Vardy and Iheanacho are striking together a good partnership at the moment, and if Leicester were to win the FA Cup, I think it'd be an outstanding achievement. I think the job that Brendan Rodgers has done at Leicester has been phenomenal. Like he's brought them to another level. Like look at last season where they dropped off. You think, oh, but they bounced back. They went again, and that shows a lot of fight, character, belief to do that, to go again next season. And fair play to them. To finish top four, win the FA Cup, like that'd be a brilliant season. And like that'd be a case he made for Rodgers to get manager of the season. I think, to be honest. In European football, Haaland scores 2 goals again. He's been brilliant for Dortmund. Like, I know he didn't really play that well against City in 2 legs, but I still think that he has to leave Dortmund because, and I know he's scoring goals in the German league, but like he want to get to the next level. And I think it'd be interesting to see who comes in from the summer. His agent says he wants 500 grand a week, so it'd be interesting to see who comes up with that. It'd be great if United were able to put a bid in for him, because I think that's what United need. And Mbappe scored 2 again for PSG. Like the ability that this chap has is unbelievable. Like he could be one of the best players in Europe over the next few years. But off the pitch, made more noise over the weekend and on. During the United match, there was breaking news that United, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal all signed a document for a breakaway league. I'm so disappointed with the likes of United and Liverpool doing this, because I thought like United and Liverpool were all about history, tradition, and all this, and like I was ashamed to see those clubs sign that. And I was watching Gary Neville there yesterday on Sky, and the point he made was brilliant. I think he was right. Like I think those teams should get relegated because what they're doing is wrong. It's just money. That's all it is. It's greed, greed, greed. If you were to ask the players of these clubs, managers, like I think they love playing the Premier League. Like one of the reasons why the Premier League is so good is because it's so competitive. And if this was to happen, like it would not be competitive at all. So the Premier League does need to do something, but I think it was wrong what the big clubs did. Undermining uh, the Premier League. I thought, to be honest, and this would be disgraceful if it was to happen. Like the government bodies need to step in and prevent this from happening, I think. And Mourinho leaving Spurs, he's been there 17 months. Like this morning, I was actually surprised he was sacked, especially this week with the cup final. At the time, I was strange because, like, look at the record he has in this competition. Like, it was strange, but he didn't win enough games, and that's what football is all about, and that's what you got the sack. When Spurs went top in December, like the fall off from then to now has been unbelievable. The amount of mistakes they made at the back has been crazy. Like, and that's down to Mourinho. That's down to the coaching on the training pitch. I don't think he's done a good enough. He hasn't done a good enough job to address that. Like I know they're brilliant going forward and Kane, but that's all he have. Like he hasn't improved the rest of the team. Like and Spurs say today was a gamble that didn't work out. Like I was actually surprised when he got the job first. I don't think he's improved Spurs around. I think Spurs went backwards, to be honest. During him, but like you wouldn't be surprised if the players stop playing the manager. Like it's happened before, and like you wouldn't be surprised if Spurs start winning now because Mourinho's gone. That's just the way football works now. Unfortunately, there's no loyalty anymore in the game. That's what has happened over the last few years. But I think Mourinho's done as a manager of Premier League. His best days are behind him because football has evolved. Like when he first came to England, he was playing with style and swagger, and that's gone, now. But like, I wouldn't be surprised if he finds another job somewhere else because everybody loves Mourinho. Like clubs will just look at the track record and then they'll give him the job. So I don't think he's finished in football yet, unfortunately. And I can see why a lot of people don't like him. So I think a lot of Spurs fans will be delighted that he's gone. I think. Elsewhere in sport the weekend, PJ Tour. The performance by Stuart Sink was unbelievable. If you want to know how the front lead a tournament and winning, that's how to do it. Like, he was brilliant. Tee the green, he was in control of his game. Every shot down the middle, on the green, easy pars, stress free. Like, that's just a perfect way to win a tournament. He controlled the lead brilliantly. And because he played so well, he put the pressure on his nearest challengers. And look at Morikawa last night, played poorly. That's because Stuart Sink was putting him under pressure, and that's what happened, you know. That's why he won by so much in the end. A brilliant win for him. A great comeback story, considering, bar this year he didn't really win since the Open Championship in 2009. So, a brilliant win for him. Another consistent performer than Matt Fitzpatrick. Like, his tee to green game is so solid, so consistent. Gets the most out of his game. Has a brilliant caddy, Billy Foster, and he has to make the World Cup team this year, definitely. And great to see Shane Lowry finish top 10. That'll do his confidence a world of good, especially with his own caddy not being there. So, it'd be great if Shane Lowry was to build on this in the next few weeks. And the European Tour, Austrian Open, it was an exciting finish between Catlin and Kiefer. Like, I was watching Catlin in the round, I thought he was brilliant. Like, every orange shot he was hitting was like, it was all over the pin. His iron play was brilliant. But keeper put it up and went to the playoff. And I went 5 extra holes. I thought, the record of the playoff of 9 holes a few years ago was in danger, but he got to finish in 5. A brilliant win for Catlin. Like, he's won 3 times over the last 8 months. He's great potential, great ability. Watch out for him over the rest of the year because he's a brilliant player. And good round for Martin Keimer. Like, I know he went out in the lead. I know he's first few holes before, but he came back into it near the end, made some great putts near the end. And that'll do his game the world of good, especially with trying to get the Ryder Cup team this year. And snooker to finish. I watched Ronnie O'Sullivan's first round game, the snooker World Championship of the weekend. I know he didn't play well, but he got the win. That's all that matters. You look at the great players in the game. They know how to grind out a result, and that's what he did. It's all about staying in the tournament the first week because it doesn't really get going to the second week because the games get longer and you start to play better players. So I think he's going to get better as the tournament goes on. So I hope you enjoy the action throughout the weekend. Thank you.